Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today we are talking about the full moon in Scorpio. All right, this is a spread from Biddy Tarot, and the full moon in Scorpio is going to look at intense energies surrounding the Scorpio moon, which happens April 26th. All right, just happens to be today that it's at its climax. And this is creating an ideal time for shadow work and transformational activities. So use this energy to release anything that no longer resonates with your true self. All right? So one more shuffle of this. And then I did realize that I didn't do a new moon in Aries. So I will also have that posted in case you guys are following that. The new moon happened about 2 weeks ago. My apologies on that. I didn't even realize I missed it, to be honest with you. But here we go, okay? So cards are shuffled. The first 6 questions, and they always have 6 questions, but the first question is, what feelings have you been avoiding? What feelings have you been avoiding during this intense energy surrounding the Scorpio moon? And that's represented by the Queen of Stones and the Bear. All right, what lessons have you learned through the trying times in the past 6 months? What lessons have you learned through trying times in the past 6 months, all right, during this full moon in Scorpio? 10 of Vessels, happiness. Awesome. So what intense emotions are coming up for you now? And the card that flies out, the Knight of Arrows and the Hawk. How can you express your emotions more healthily during this full moon in Scorpio? This would be, focusing on that energy to release anything that no longer resonates with you. All right? And that's represented by the Two of Bows. Decision. What do you need to release in order to experience deep transformation during this full moon in Scorpio? Represented by 2 cards, 8 of Arrows and Struggle, and the World Tree. Interesting. And where do you need to relinquish control in your life during this full moon in Scorpio? And that is represented by the Woodward. So there we go. We got the 6 cards, Queen of Stones, representing what feelings you've been avoiding, the 10 of Vessels, on what lessons you've learned through the trying times in the past 6 months. Knight of Arrows, for what intense emotions are coming up for you now. 2 of Bows, decision, for how can you express your emotions more healthily. 8 of Arrows and the World Tree, and what do you need to release in order to experience deep transformation. And the Woodward, and where do you need to relinquish control in your life. All right, so this full moon in Scorpio, what feelings have you been avoiding? And that's represented by the Queen of Stones and the Bear. And looking at the rest of these, 2 arrows out there, so there's some logic, reasoning. And you got 2 life lessons cards. So out of the 7 there, there's going to be some life lessons learned and some logic, but you are represented by all the this full moon is represented by all the elements. So what feelings have you been avoiding? Maybe that's that nurturing feeling. Okay. Now the Queen of Stones is she likes to be she rules the castle of finances, let's say. Okay, and she's going to know where all the finances are coming in. She's going to be very protective of her cubs and her young. All right, she can be very nurturing as well. Okay, this queen is very fierce when it comes to somebody, trying to do something to them, right, or to those that she loves. All right, so the feelings that you've been avoiding are possibly the ones of being that protector. All right, of I don't want to say not standing up for your loved ones or anything like that, but not really showing those feelings over the last 6 months. Okay, and this could be an energy for you to release. All right. It could also be an energy for you to, grasp and look at that shadow activity, that shadow work, almost like the mirror, where you're looking in the mirror and you see the inner perspective, and then you look in the crystal ball, okay, and you see your inner shadows. Okay. So the feelings that you've been avoiding could be that nurturing feeling, could be that protector feeling, because, like I said, the Queen of the Stones is, she's a protector of the land. And she does ask a couple questions. What needs to be preserved? Okay, what feelings have you been avoiding? That's a big question. What feelings have you been avoiding? And she's coming out saying what needs to be preserved. If you're avoiding feelings to preserve a relationship, or to preserve, maybe it's a perception that maybe those feelings would come out during a conversation, and somebody looks at them the wrong way. That perception, that perspective from somebody else, may not go well. Maybe you're afraid of being hurt, okay, instead of speaking your mind, okay, and as a result, okay, I need to preserve those emotions. I don't want to give myself away, all right, because then I'm going to open myself up. I'm going to be vulnerable, right? So what feelings have you been avoiding? Feeling of happiness, feeling of fear, feeling of worry, sadness, those types of things that it's asking you during this full moon in Scorpio. Now, this is going to be a very intense energy during this full moon in Scorpio as well, all right? And it's going to bring those feelings forward so you can transform. Like I'm just thinking right now, when I said transform, I was thinking that caterpillar into the butterfly, right? Just imagine yourself being closed up like we have been for the last year in COVID, right? And here you've got an opportunity to get out, to fly, be like that butterfly. What is that feeling going to be like, to claw away at that cocoon and actually spread your wings and fly? It's going to be hard to get out of that cocoon. You're going to want to do things quickly, all right? But then once you get out there, you're happy. And that comes up with that next card, that Ten of Vessels, happiness, right? That's one of the lessons you probably learned. Maybe like this bear, you're hibernating, and now you're coming out. You're seeing that sunset, seeing that sunrise, and you're saying, you know what? I am not going to be cooped up in this house anymore. It's time for me to go during this full moon in Scorpio. All right, May is coming up, and I'm just gonna go out and I'm gonna enjoy life. All right, and that's a feeling of just saying, you know what? If COVID, maybe you got the shots already, maybe you haven't got the shots, but now you've realized, you know what? I'm going to live my life, and that's a great, that's a feeling of freedom, right? That you can relay on, The other question she asks is, where can you make space? When you let your feelings out, you allow space. You literally, okay. When you let something out, you're creating a void, and that void's going to get filled with a new feeling, okay? And that's where, if you're making space for that freedom, that feeling of freedom, or let's, go back to the cocoon. You're anticipating trying to get out of that cocoon, and you just want to, the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of, I got to get out of here, and you're rushing. And then once you let that loose, you're like, oh my gosh, I can breathe again. I'm going to go on vacation. As soon as you release that energy out there, the new energy of happiness comes through. The new energy of being able to fly freely as that butterfly as you're moving out there. So that's what this Queen of Stones, this bear, represents for the feelings that you've been avoiding. What lessons have you learned through the trying times in the past 6 months? And is represented by the Ten of Vessels, the happiness. In the last 6 months, maybe you found your happiness. Maybe you're being blessed with all this emotional energy. I can't even fill up all the cups. Maybe you found that happiness. Okay, and that's the lesson. Maybe, and it probably was tough. I mean, I've talked about it in the videos here a while ago, finding that fulfillment, finding your happiness. Okay, and it's a tough road to go down. It's hard to find that happiness. It's hard to even keep it and let it stay with what's going on, right? Because once we have it, we don't want to let it go. And then all of a sudden, before you realize it, you're like, man, just the other day I was happy. How do I get back there? What was it that really made me happy? And then you realize, maybe you threw intentions out to the universe. Maybe it was through your meditation. Maybe it was just, you know what? I just don't care. I'm just going to be happy. It's an attitude that you can take, all right? It's an attitude of having that positive mental attitude every day, And like the song says, don't worry, be happy, right? What intention emotions are coming up for you now? And it's represented by the Knight of Arrows, that hawk. Now, the hawk is about vision and power. To me, that hawk flies high. Now, knights are fighters and tacticians. And that Knight of Arrows is all about logic and air and reasoning. Okay, so when you're thinking about the intense emotions that are coming up for you now, look at the logic and the reasoning behind them. Why are you feeling angry? Why are you feeling happy? What is bringing on the energy of sadness? What is bringing on the energy of sorrow or happiness or, whatever it is? You have to ask yourself these questions. You know what happiness is. We just talked about it. Those are the lessons you've learned, okay? But with the Scorpio moon bringing up these intense energies, okay, you have to ask yourself, what intense emotions are coming up for me now? And why? Why are they happening? Okay, when you can ask those questions of yourself, okay, and get those answers, that's where you're going to use that logic, that reasoning of saying, you know what? I only know why I'm ticked off, all right? Because I let so-and-so push my buttons. Or, man, I just felt so great out there. Why did I feel so great? I got done with this project. It's awesome. How do I keep that feeling going on? Okay. In the night, this Knight of Arrows asks, what do you need to stand up for? And you have to think about that, okay? What intense emotions are coming up for me now? If somebody's pushing your buttons during the Scorpio moon, maybe you have to stand up for yourself. Or if somebody, I remember I see a commercial in my head, and it's for the Marines, all right? And a gal sees somebody, picking on a friend of hers, and she goes in and stands up for him, right? Or maybe there's something going on there that, near and dear to your heart you need to stand up for, all right? That's bringing those intense emotions. Whether it's, some sort of Black Lives Matter or, something going on politically that you don't agree with, all right? That's affecting your emotions during the Scorpio moon, all right? Take a step back and say, okay, why are they happening, right? What do I need to stand up for? How can I stand up for something, all right? Maybe through a protest, all right? To not let those intense emotions overdo me, right? Maybe there's, a constructive way of doing that. And the other question that this knight asks is, have you checked your information? If you have these intense emotions coming up, okay, for you now, you have to think about what's going on, all right, with that. Have you checked your information on all the data of what's going on out there? If somebody's pushing your buttons or you've gotten information, all right, and automatically you're thinking this, that, and the other thing, maybe new information comes up and says, you know what? I shouldn't even have been mad at that. I should have just said, you know what? Let me just see what information's out there and then comprehend it, all right, and analyze why I'm getting all, or why you're getting all emotional or something, all right, with those intense emotions. That's what this Knight of Arrows is talking about. All right, how can you express your emotions more healthily? It's represented by the two of bows and decision. You can express your emotions healthily. It's really, this is a no-brainer, right? Make the decision. Make the decision to express those emotions, or make the decisions not to express those emotions. If you decide to express them, do so in a constructive, healthy fashion where it doesn't go back to what we just talked about with that Knight of Arrows. Okay? You release the emotions that are out there. Make that decision. You know what? I'm going to talk to so-and-so about how he said something to me. All right? Or, you know what? I'm going to truly express how I feel in this relationship. Make that decision, because once you make that decision, all right, and you can, put it into action, that's what this is calling for. Bows are action cards. All right? When you can make that decision and do that action, that's how you're going to be able to free your emotions more healthily, by making that decision. 2 cards popped out with what do you need to release in order to experience deep transformation. In order to release anything in this deep transformation, it's going to be a struggle for one, and it's going to be an ending. All right, so this intense energy that's around this Scorpio moon, it's going to create an ideal time for that shadow work, for you to look within. Okay, but it's also going to be a struggle for you to get there. And once you've made that decision, and you're making that, and you're moving forward in that action, it's going to be hard. Okay, you still have the light guiding you. Okay, but it's going to end a cycle for you too, and that's what the World Tree stands for. All right, the World Tree is standing for the end of a cycle. That's that life lesson where you've learned what you've learned. Now it's time, you've walked that maze. It's time to walk through the door. Okay, and once you walk through that door, you will have you've made the decision. You walk through the door. You're able to release all those emotional energies and transform from that cocoon, from that caterpillar, into the butterfly. That's how you can experience that deep transformation going forward. All right? But it's going to be a struggle. Just as that caterpillar is struggling to get out of that cocoon. Okay? Once they're free, they have that knowledge. All right, that's where that deep transformation takes place. So you're going to struggle, but you're also going to have to, end the cycle. And then where do you need to relinquish control in your life? Represented by the Woodward, another life lessons card. Relinquish control in your life. That's tough. During this full moon in Scorpio, it's going to be very, very tough with the intense energy to relinquish control in your life. How do you give that control to somebody else? People like to be in control. Control their decisions, control their emotions, control their friends, control where they want to go, when they want to go. How do you release that? How do you relinquish that control in your life to let other things go on? All right, that's the intense energy surrounding the Scorpio moon. All right, it's an opportunity right now to create an ideal time for that shadow work, that transformational shadow work. Okay, if you can afford to let go just a little bit of control, you're gaining a whole lot of trust in somebody else to help you out and transform during this full moon in Scorpio. And once you go through that, then you're releasing that energy, and you're just becoming stronger. And that's what this card stands for. You become stronger as you release that energy, as you're about to fly like that butterfly. All right? And you're letting those things go that no longer resonate with your true self. Your true self tells you what you can let go of and what you can hold on to. All you have to do is have the strength to listen and understand. So there you have it. That's the full moon in Scorpio. I'll take a picture of this and have it posted as well. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. And this is D for the Spirit's Path. Enjoy that full moon in Scorpio. And like I said, I will have that new moon in Aries, which was a couple of weeks ago. I'll post it. You know, I totally forgot about it. So, you know, I apologize. But I'll also have that one posted either later tonight or probably tomorrow sometime. Okay? So take care, God bless, and stay safe, and enjoy this full moon in Scorpio. You know, if it's going to be a clear night, it's going to be very beautiful. It's supposed to be a pink full moon, too, from what I understand. All right? Don't let those intense energies overwhelm you. Take care, God bless. This is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you at the next full moon. Definitely the next new moon, too.